It's the next installment of Test My Strategy Live, the new video playlist that we started a week ago now. And in this one, we actually have an example for an 8-hour Bitcoin 2 SMA GAN strategy. This man, Mr. Kenny, who is submitting this one, actually has access to the Quant Prime AI service. So he's using the skeleton key in order to derive this one. So I'm just going to go straight into the link right here, meaning that we don't need to, worry about setting up and all of this good stuff. So I've already broadened up the chart right here, and as you can see throughout, it looks like this is probably going to go like the past 6 years, I'm going to guess. Let's go to the list of trades. Let's just verify this first. No, this is not long at all. In fact, why is it not giving me that long of a history? All right, you know what? I'm going to go to deep backtester first. I want to see how this one's done over the past, at least since like 2018. Or actually we're on Bybit right here. So I'll keep it on Bybit. Bybit's got 2018. Okay, we'll go with that and see what this one is printed before we get into, potential optimization. So pretty consistent there. We can see that equity curve does generally go up and to the right, but we do have these periods of, chopping up sideways with that drawdown. That's going to be my first sort of goal here to improve. I like more smooth equity curves that don't necessarily have greater P&L, but the way that I look at it is that the more smooth the equity curve without these sort of potential drawdown periods right here, likely the more robust it is and likely the more future-proofed it is as well. Now, of course, we really wanted to go through like the full rigmarole with future-proofing it. We need to do the whole forwards testing method, which is going to be outside of the context of a video like this because it's just going to take too long. But generally with these higher term time frame strategies, you can kind of get away with using other methods. To be honest, it's not going to be as serious as a lower term time frame strategy, especially things under like a 4-hour time frame, but even under an hourly as well. Those are going to be a little bit more sensitive, I suppose, and do require a lot more care in that way. Higher term timeframes, a little bit less so, although of course, it is good practice. Anyways, okay, enough rambling. And again, I want to bring up this right here because it is more or less the same. And let's go into the skeleton key. So this one is, let's just figure out what the hell it's doing first. Then we can get into, potential optimizations. Looks like there are very few settings here, which is fine. First, he has an entry condition on closing above whatever moving average he has on the board. I'm guessing that is a 5 EMA. Let's just double check what we got. It's a 2 EMA. It's a 2 SMA. Okay. So he's using that. So a very, 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 very low period moving average to define an entry. Let's see what else is on the board here. He's using the price crossing under the GAN high low pivot plot. He's using that for an exit, so he's taking profit based off of that. And then what else does he have? Does he have any other? Okay, he also has an ATR risk stop. Okay, so he's basically using either a combination of the ATR or a maximum stop loss over here to essentially manage risk. And this would be effectively your profit taking metric. Waiting for a price to cross under the most recent GAN high or low pivot point. So fair enough. All right, very, very simple strategy, but as I always say, simple is actually a good starting point. So I'm going to just apply some simple filters first in order to see if I can improve this. So like I said, big focus is going to be on smoothing out this equity curve right here. Keep in mind the profit factor 284, profitable trade rate just under 54%, total P&L over here is about 275K. So let's start off with the obvious stuff first, and let's just take a look at these trades. And so, all right, already I notice that he has several entries here that are actually very good entries that did have a chance to be like decently profitable, but he's not taking profit there. So I think we could tighten that up with perhaps a take profit by percentage. That's where I'll start off on that one. Yeah, and he has some of these ones that he holds for a very long time. So maybe we could employ something for that as well. Okay, this one over here, again, giving up too much of those profits, in my opinion. This one was well in his favor early on. So yeah, definitely take profit by percentage is going to be my first thing. This went up 16.5%. Okay. And then when he took profit, it was up 5%. Okay. Yeah. So again, you're giving up like over 10% of profit right there. That's unacceptable in my opinion. We want more. We want more. In fact, I might even get rid of his profit-taking metric altogether in favor of something else. But yeah, he does stay in some of these trades for a long time. But again, giving up a decent amount afterwards from the high of this one to the next, to the actual closing price. This was losing almost 10% there as well. Yeah, and this one over here, I mean, this was a phenomenally profitable trade early on and then, barely getting any profit by the end. I mean, maybe with fees, it's probably negligible if present at all. Yeah, this one up about almost 10% right there as well. So, okay. I'm getting a decent idea now. So yeah, that's going to be my first port of call here to potentially improve this one. Actually, let's get the strategy Chester up and let's go down to that take profit by percentage. Which is right here. There's already a 12 in there. I don't know if he was playing around with that or not, but I'm just going to start there and see what that does. I assume it should. Yeah. So already we've smoothed things out like a lot. We did lose a good amount of total P&L on this one, and profitable trade rate more or less the same. We did get more total trades, and profit factor also went down as well. But already I'm definitely favoring this sort of an equity curve over the prior one. But I think that we can do better than this. Let's go down to an 11 percentage take profit. Okay, total P&L goes up. Now I'd say that this is certainly preferable over the original. Everything else very, very similar, to be fair, but I think we should actually go down a little bit more. Let's go down on it. And here, 10%. Okay, now the stats are actually not improving. They're actually getting a little bit worse. Yeah, profit factor went down as well. Profitable trade rate went down about 1%. It's not like super concerning, but when all of these top end metrics go down, okay, we're not on the right path. But I just want to see what would happen if we were like really or much more aggressive. Okay, 9% take profit. Now we're back in the money. This again, I'm going to definitely prioritize over that prior 11 one. I always like to go with the lower of these just because, well, it's going to be more dependable over time. But yeah, now I think, all right, now this is a clear improvement. Let's just try a little bit more. Let's just see what happens. You never know until you try. And yeah, when we go down to 8, okay, the equity curve, I really do like, to be honest, but all of the top end metrics, again, they're losing right there. So now let's mark it to the middle between these, see which side is improving it more or less. 8.5, still not as good as the 9. So now let's go a little bit above 9, do 9.5, and then we'll do like much less than 9. Yeah, okay, so 9 actually going to be a good round even number right there. So we'll keep that. I just want to see like what would a 6.5 be, just to know. Sometimes you find some weird shit with this, but yeah, kind of as expected. You maintain the curvature. A little bit less nice on the curvature, and everything else, yeah, much worse. So we're gonna stay with 9. Okay, sweet. All right. I am already liking this actually a significant amount more than what we just had. What I think the next thing I'd do is I'd actually try to get rid of his original exit condition, because I think this take profit by percentage might actually be better overall. So let's see what happens if I take that off. Just to see. Okay, it actually does not get better. All right, we're going to keep it on. That solves that. Okay, one last thing, or a couple last things here. Let's try to fuck around with the weekday filter. Usually there are a couple days that are not very good, like Thursday. I'm going to start by getting rid of that one, see if anything massively improves. We do see an improvement. Total P&L went up about $5,000. That's minimal in my opinion compared to the actual P&L in terms of percentage. But again, that equity curve continues to get smoother. I typically look at this as, that this is probably going to be more robust long-term if you do go with that. But let's play around some other days. Sunday is another typically bad day for long strategies. Nope. In this case, it actually reduces the results. So we're going to keep it on. It's not meaningful. Saturday, let's just go one by one now, see what this one does. Saturday actually improves it quite a fair bit. Total P&L and profit factor going up. Strategy becomes more efficient. The equity curve gets a little bit more smooth. Yeah, I'm liking this. All right, we keep that. What about Friday? some strategies like no days are good. That's actually what's most likely to happen. Like nothing's good. What about Tuesday? No, we don't like that. What about Wednesday? Wednesday is usually a very good day. Yeah, for long strategies. And as you can see, definitely want to keep that one in. And then Monday, yeah, same thing here as well. So, all right, we've only applied like very, very visceral changes so far. And already I like where this one's at significantly more than what we had before. But let's try a few more things. We're not done here just yet. I do want to demonstrate how it can be, relatively on the simple side. Let's go over to the higher term time frame trend. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to set a condition that in this case, the daily trend represented by the 21 and 55 EMAs must be in an upwards direction. So let's see what this will do. I imagine this will actually make things worse. Yeah, it does certainly make things worse. What if I bring that down to the exact same time frame as this strategy at 8 hours? Let's see what this one does. Yeah, also not an improvement. We're losing too many trades here. Total trades almost gets cut in half. So this is not ideal. Let's maybe try like a lower term time frame trend just to see. I'll go with the 4 hour time frame. Like I said, I don't want to bore you with like super nerdy shit on this one, but yeah, again, the equity curve does improve quite a fair bit. Like this is objectively a better equity curve, and the profit factor actually is still very, very good. But I think, this one, I'd rather take those extra losses and have more trades because that's going to give you a bigger P&L. It's acceptable as it is what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to get rid of it. And I think that this is pretty good as it is. I'm not going to export the trade list and shit like that right now. Like I said, I want to keep these videos a little bit on the shorter side. I want them to be digestible. Like I said, we can make this super long by doing forwards testing, but it's actually not even, in my opinion, that I don't find it to be that fruitful on higher term timeframes, especially above like a 4 hour. So yeah, maybe, well, I was going to think of using the price action pivots on this one to get to validate entries, but I actually don't think that's going to be ideal here. Like I said, this one's got some nice stats to where we actually want those extra trades. We don't want to be losing out on more trades, with an over 50% strike rate and a profit factor, at 2.25. I mean, that's fine. Don't want to get too greedy here. That's considered good enough in my opinion. So you know what? I think that's really where I want to leave this one, to be honest. The reason why is because this strategy was already getting pretty decent entries. And so I don't really want to fuck with that. Its risk management, I think, is fine as well. Yeah, you do have periods of drawdown, but that's fine. You just don't put super high leverage on a strategy like this. But the entries are generally pretty good. The exits were the issue here. And still on some of these, like I would have liked to have tightened this one up. Like this really should be a winning trade right here when you get, 7.5% in your favor. But as we went over, putting those numbers on it actually did not improve things. So maybe it's just not worth it in this case. At any rate, I do like what it's doing right here. It's getting these trendy trades. Really like it. So it's acting better. It's acting a lot better. Maybe let's go back to some of the earlier iterations just to see if these are also acting as planned. Looks like the strategy will not trade bear markets. The conditions do not allow for that. So, yeah. Weirdly enough, yeah, nothing there. Anyways. Going back to these, and let's actually run the strategy tester, deep back tester, all the way from the beginning of this chart, which is on Bybit, to current times. And yeah, okay, I think we're gonna run with that. Just going down the list here. Okay, yes, all right. I still don't understand why it's not showing those earlier trades. Strange stuff, but like I said, I want to keep these videos on a little bit on the shorter side. It's mostly a demonstration of, quick and easy ways to fix up your strategies. And I think that this is in a pretty decent place now. What I like about this is that all of the major lows on this equity curve are higher. And that's really all that we care about at the end of the day. So yeah, I think we'll end it right there. Again, this is a pretty good example of taking a relatively simple strategy and applying just some really simple filters as well. I don't want to complicate this one like too much, so we're going to leave it there. Actually, I'll ship this one off. I am going to post a copy, or no, I'm going to share this with him in the Discord. And thank you for posting your strategy, Mr. Kenny. Here is a quick fix for it. All right, nice. 15 minutes. Okay, not too short, not too long. Beautiful. We'll end it on that note. As always, I want to wish you the best of best. Take care, much love, and I'll see you in the next Test My Strategy video.